It was an 8-week program where 6 of those weeks we had Chip Staley coming in and doing training about the neuroscience, about empathy, about how to interview, about navigating the technology. And that was the first 5 to 6 weeks. After that, we developed our interview questions and we conducted interviews. By we, I mean the students conducted interviews with the memory care patients, all via Zoom. We're still doing COVID, and hopefully maybe next year we could do it again and do it in person. But they conducted interviews that ran, anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes, where they tried to suss out what kind of music might be the right kind of music to touch that person. And so through these conversations, we were then able to develop playlists, to put that stuff on SD cards, to put the SD cards in elderly friendly MP3 players with big buttons and with comfortable earphones, and then these were delivered via the mail, but they were delivered yesterday.
I know how big a role music plays in my life, and knowing that I could help someone who's maybe struggling with memory reconnect with their past experiences and with something that's really important to them, which is music, and share in this experience that music brings us.
So in the beginning, I originally thought that dementia, you would lose just all your memories and you wouldn't be able to regain them. However, with our elderly person, we found out that if we brought up conversations like with his grandson, he would be able to give us continuous conversations about him.
As we worked with our memory care patient, we realized that as we added music that he used to listen to, he began regaining even more memories and remembering what songs he listened to. And it further showed how dementia is the main umbrella of an idea of memory loss, and there's many different aspects underneath it, which includes Alzheimer's, and it showed through him that he didn't just have Alzheimer's, there might be a different form of it.
Did you feel like that's, as they talked to you, a developing sense of trust that maybe you didn't expect?
Yeah, so they talked earlier about how sometimes they may not be as open just because they have dementia, and for me it really wasn't that way. It was they were very open and conscious, and it was just a great experience.
It was also really cool to see the impact we had. I think Mr. Mitchell will presumably continue to enjoy his big playlist. And it was just really neat to see how much he enjoyed what he was hearing. That he kind of was able to, I think, listen to some music he hadn't heard in a long time and really kind of reconnect to his past and to his childhood.
I have a family friend that actually is dealing with Alzheimer's right now, and I'm seeing how much of an effect it has on him, because personally we're having to take care of his child sometimes, so we'll pick him up from school, and the wife of the family friend, she's just personally going through a lot, and so I kind of want to see what it would be like from that perspective of what she's dealing with. Just because we're so close with them, and I know how much this is affecting them right now.
What was the growth in the learning that you saw in your students in this process?
So part of that growth is growing through, one, understanding how ugly of a disease that can be. Another is understanding, a little bit of the neuroscience, and there's value there too, but the big one is just the empathy. In the conversation, we watched a documentary, this is maybe 3-4 weeks ago, the Honor Society students who were involved in this project, we hung out after school, popped popcorn, we watched the Alive Inside documentary, which I highly recommend to everybody. Watch the Alive Inside documentary, and it's a bit of a tearjerker. I stood in the back, I didn't want them to see me, but you could hear some sniffles in the room as well. And so that growing in that empathy and growing in that understanding what families are going through when they have grandma or an aunt or an uncle who are struggling in this way. And then seeing the power of what can be done with a simple MP3 player and some Ray Charles.